Peglin is an indie game that is out on early access for $20. It has around 1,500 mostly positive reviews and has made approximately $1 million in a week, according to this article. It is a good mix of Slay the Spire and Peggle. However, it has its flaws. I'll list them out in order from minor inconveniences to straight up disasters. I'll also list out all the good things at the end to balance it out, sort of. It all begins with RNG. Roguelikes at this point are straight up infamous for causing players doom or rise based on luck. When I see a chest, encounter mysterious events, defeat elites, or boss monsters to get an item, relic, artifact as a reward, the system pulls it out from a lottery machine. It could be anywhere from trash to godlike, and that heavily affects your progression. Case in point. In my first run, I managed to progress to the second world with semi-trash items and relatively good orbs. And this is how it was going. Now compared to my second run with the same minions, but this time my items are straight up broken. The same could be said about my orbs. And you start seeing a very different picture. Oh, by the way, the perceptive audience will have understood that there are 2 points that RNG affects heavily: the items you can receive and the orbs. Essentially the bullets you shoot into the Peggle world. This problem is relatively unsolvable, and so is treated as a minor inconvenience. The second one, however, affects many aspects of the game, and hence needs to be handled carefully. That is the sense of progression of a player. Progression is something I divide in 2 categories: game progress and story progression. Those who have played the game already know where I'm going with this, but just in case, game progress means changing in music pieces, enemies with more health, new types of enemies, new items, new worlds, backgrounds, etc. You get the gist. And all of these are done spectacularly. I mean, this is the music. All of this is straight up amazing, but we aren't here to compliment it just yet. And so we come to the story side of the progression, and it is empty. There is nothing here, nor a name, a dialogue, villain's monologue, the reason for existence, narrated by a narrator, nothing. I mean, Slay the Spire kept it vague as fuck, but it was still there. Here, there's straight up zero. And people may argue that it is still in early access, and to them I'll recommend playing a demo of The Unliving, or watch my video on it. Even demos have a sense of story, and that is no excuse. But this story progression affects another factor, essentially turning it into disaster. And that, my friends, is the endgame content. What Peglin offers as the endgame is running the game with restrictions, essentially a new game plus. And this may be adjusted to the player's liking in the future. This is a guess of mine since it is a demo feature at the moment. But I would like to ask you, why would you do that? Why would you play it in the first place? If you aren't a hardcore player, the answer to this will be very hard to come by. Because progression-wise, the story is still stuck at 0, and game progression just has more enemies with more health, so why would you have any reason to play it? This is why story even as vague as Slay the Spire needs to exist. All of these to a certain extent can be overlooked by the involvement of community, leaderboards for example, or even rare achievements will do the trick. But all of this is considered a temporary measure rather than the real thing. But they share a rather mutual relationship. The point and the problem is called the addictive gameplay. It has done good, don't worry. It's not poorly executed at all. But let me show you. This here is the final strike I made, one of my best ones, on the final boss. And this is a normal strike of Peggle Extreme playthrough. You can clearly see the difference here. One is considered highly addictive and the other does check out the reputation. This all affects the progression, endgame content, and heck, even overlooks the issue of RNG if done right. I would say the feeling of addiction here is high, but not at the peak, and that just adds to the existing bunch, making it push over the edge in one final stroke, and that masterstroke's name is the price. $20, folks! For early access game. What? Are you kidding me? And the price can still be increased if the developers feel that it is up to par. My dude, the early access itself isn't worth the price tag you're promoting it on. In fact, let's take Slay the Spire again as an example. It is a $25 game, but usually and constantly on discounts. For example, in Europe its price is 20 euros. Believe. And currently it is on discount, bringing the price down to 9 euros, I believe. Peglin already has a 10% discount, sitting at 15 euros. The choice isn't hard to make, I believe. Peglin is a game I have invested 3 hours in and it is already feeling stale. But Slay the Spire spent over 60 hours and I'm still itching to go back to it. There is no competition. However, since the masses had reported a mostly positive review, I had to check it out. And on Steam, positive or negative reviews generally agreed with me. However, there is one issue that I haven't encountered. Bugs, apparently. Now, the only issue I had was an item description that disappeared after going to the main menu and back into the run. And that's honestly it. I'm not sure I even have it on record. Some reviewers, however, have encountered them, but I believe the percentage is small enough for it not to be considered a major issue. Now, after that overwhelmingly negative outlook on the game, most would label it as trash and throw it out of their wish list. But I think it should be celebrated due to its brilliant mix of Peggle and Slay the Spire elements. The orbs, the bullets you use, feel solid and unique, and when they land a hit, boy, you know it does. The board also reflects the situation upstairs, regardless of it being elites or bosses. The beautiful Minotaur design, or a simple tree, or for the final boss, a weird looking arena. The enemy character designs, while generic, make up for it with variety, and there are some creative bosses and boss fight mechanics. Let's take the first boss, Slime, as an example. The boss will slowly crawl its way to your position, attacking long range. But at close range, it will swallow your body whole and start breaking it down, dealing massive damage. This reflects in the gameplay, where at the start you were at one of the two corners, but now you are at the center. This and the music, oh lordy, I've already discussed this, I cannot do this again. But let me just say, if you're counting contribution for it to be a top ranker, music needs to be right up there. I find it so addictive. Fuck the gameplay. Overall though, it is a good game, borderline revolutionary. but these factors keep me from recommending it. For all the cynical viewers out there, I suggest you try its free demo. It's literally almost the same as the complete game. Thank you for watching the video to its completion. I appreciate it highly. Now,